The full story of the Ulm Minster, 1317–1890, the world's tallest church. The tale of the Ulm Minster is not just a story of architecture. It is the story of a city's pride, a community's faith, and a seemingly impossible dream that took over 600 years to complete. Its journey from foundation stone to the world's tallest spire is a saga of ambition, disaster, patience, and ultimate triumph. The setting. In the early 14th century, Ulm was a thriving imperial free city within the Holy Roman Empire. Its wealth, derived from the production and trade of linen and cloth, fostered a powerful and proud citizenry. The city's parish church, however, stood outside the city walls. This was impractical and, for a wealthy city, undignified. The decision. In 1377, the citizens and city council of Ulm made a momentous decision. They would build a new church within the city walls. But this would be no ordinary church. It was to be a colossal Minster, a term often used for large, important churches that would serve as a symbol of Ulm's economic power, civic independence, and devout faith. Crucially, it was to be a people's church, Bürgerkirche, financed not by a bishop or a monastery, but by the citizens of Ulm themselves. Laying the foundation. The first architect was a man named Heinrich Parler, a member of the famous Parler family of master builders who were also working on the cathedral in Prague. The foundation stone was laid on June 30th, 1377. The design was ambitious from the start. A vast hall church with 3 naves of equal height, creating a breathtaking, unified interior space. The initial plan almost certainly included a massive west tower, but its eventual record-breaking height was likely not yet conceived. Construction began with the choir, the eastern end, which was completed by 1392. The architectural style was the height of late Gothic, characterized by verticality, large windows, and intricate stone tracery. The master builder, Ulrich von Ensingen. In 1392, a new master builder took over, Ulrich von Ensingen, who had already designed the north tower of the Basel Minster and would later work on the spire of Strasbourg Cathedral. It was under his direction that the ambition for the tower grew exponentially. He designed the iconic square lower section for the west tower, intending it to be crowned by an openwork spire, a design that would define the building's silhouette for centuries. Financial ruin and the halting of construction, the project was phenomenally expensive. In 1543, with the nave finally roofed and usable for services, construction stopped entirely. For the next 300 years, the Ulm Minster stood as a magnificent but unfinished stump. The massive west tower, reaching only to a height of about 100 meters, 328 AFT, was capped with a makeshift Lin sheer roof. Generations of Ulm citizens were born, lived, and died knowing their Minster only as a work in progress. For 3 centuries, the Great Tower project lay dormant. The completed nave served as the city's primary Protestant church. The unfinished tower became a familiar part of the city's skyline, a permanent reminder of a bygone dream. There were occasional discussions about resuming work, but the will and the vast funds required were never mustered. Time took its toll. Weather damage and even a lightning strike in the 18th century required repairs, but these were mere maintenance, not construction. The Romantic Revival. The 19th century saw the rise of German Romanticism and nationalism. There was a renewed fascination with the nation's medieval past and its architectural achievements. Unfinished Gothic cathedrals like those in Cologne and Ulm were seen not as failures, but as challenges to the modern era to complete the work of their ancestors. The decision to complete. In 1844, after thorough studies and heated public debate, the city of Ulm officially decided to resume construction. This was no longer just a religious endeavor. It was a project of cultural heritage, civic pride, and national identity. The architect, August Bayer. The man tasked with this monumental challenge was architect August Bayer. His first job was not to build up, but to build down. He had to extensively reinforce the existing foundations and the 6 centuries-old lower tower structure to bear the immense weight of the spire that was to come. He remained faithful to the original Gothic plans, but used modern engineering techniques and materials. The final master, Karl Joseph von Birkmüller. After Bayer's death, Karl Joseph von Birkmüller took over. The work was painstaking. Stone was quarried nearby and a special railway was built to transport materials to the site. The scaffolding itself was a marvel of engineering, climbing ever higher above the city. The culmination. On May 31, 1890, the final stone, the ornate finial cross at the very apex, was put into place. The event was a citywide celebration. After 513 years, the dream conceived in the Middle Ages was finally realized. The record. With the completion of its spire, the Ulm Minster reached a final height of 161.53 meters, 530 feet. It soared past the Cologne Cathedral, 157.4 meters, to claim the title of the tallest church in the world, a title it still holds to this day if the unorthodox modern scale of the Sagrada Familia is discounted. The story of the Ulm Minster is unique. Unlike most great European cathedrals started by the church, Ulm's was a civic project from the beginning. Its construction timeline, from 1377 to 1890, encompasses the end of the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, the Reformation, the Enlightenment, and the Industrial Revolution. Of civic pride, a monument built by and for the citizens of Ulm. Of perseverance, a project that survived war, religious upheaval, and financial collapse, only to be finished with determination centuries later. Of unity, it bridges the medieval and modern worlds, a Gothic masterpiece completed with 19th century ingenuity. Today, visitors who climb its 768 steps to the top are not just ascending a tower, they are walking through the layers of a history over 600 years in the making, culminating in a breathtaking view earned by the ambition and patience of countless generations.